Congratulations! You have successfully marketed your home, received a good offer which you've accepted, and that's it. House sold, deal done. But wait, what happens now? Finding a buyer and agreeing a sale price is a big step towards selling your home, but there is still a lot to do. In this video, we're going to talk through what to expect with the next part of selling your home. First things first, you need to make sure that the accepted offer is a legitimate offer, that the buyer is who they say they are, that they're legally able to own the property, and that they can fund the property legitimately too. Your estate agent is required by law to carry out anti-money laundering checks on your buyer when accepting an offer. This usually involves ID checks and providing the source of any buyer's funds, whether that be through the sale of a property or a business, through a mortgage agreement in principle, or through hard-earned savings. Once the anti-money laundering checks have been passed, your estate agent will prepare the memorandum of sale to be sent to the conveyancing solicitor to start the legal process. Now, if you're a regular follower of this channel, you'll know that we recommend setting up with your solicitor when you put your house onto the market to save time at this stage. If you haven't done this already, act quickly now to appoint your conveyancing solicitor to avoid delays. The memorandum of sale will outline the basic terms of sale. When starting the legal proceedings, the first thing your solicitor will do will be to prepare a draft contract to be sent to the other solicitor. They will then ask you to provide material information about the property, such as information around the boundary, any planning permissions used, or any known defects. Keeping clear and accurate records of any work carried out or of important documents will save you time here. Now, what is your buyer doing at this point? Well, they will be doing a few things to start the legal proceedings from their side. Their solicitor will conduct a local authority search to identify if there are any planning issues. They may have an environmental search to identify if there are any environmental risks. And in many cases, a buyer will have a structural survey that they've independently appointed to identify if there are any structural issues with the property. Following this, your buyer's solicitor will raise inquiries with your solicitor for any extra information they require about the property. You will then work with your solicitor to respond to any inquiries raised by your buyer. At Storeys, we like to support this process, whether that's by liaising between buyer and seller or providing access to the property. Hopefully your estate agent can help with this too. In many scenarios, your buyer will require a mortgage to fund the purchase of your property, and they will need to put in a full mortgage application. The mortgage provider they are using will need to assess the value of the asset that they are lending on, in this case, your house. They won't just take the estate agent's word for it in terms of the value, they will conduct their own research into this. They will either do a desktop valuation, whereby they will look at data without needing to visit the property, or they will do an in-person valuation, where they will need to visit your property to assess the value from there. Now, if all of this was plain sailing, then you wouldn't be here looking for advice. Sometimes the process can run smoothly, but often there are things that need to be ironed out. Perhaps the survey has brought up some structural defects that will require further assessment, work to be done to rectify the issue, or in some cases money to come off the sale price in order to account for further work to be done down the line. If the mortgage lender decides that your house isn't worth what the buyer is wishing to pay, then something will need to be done about this. The buyer will need to either find alternative funding options, they will need to perhaps change lender, or in some cases they will ask to see if the sale price can be reduced on the house in order to account for this. The other thing to be conscious of is the rest of the transactions in the chain and how they are progressing. This could be transactions in the chain below your buyer or above the one that you are purchasing. If one link in the chain is facing delays or problems, then this is passed on to the rest of the chain, as you will need to wait for these to be resolved. This part can take a lot of patience, as there are a lot of things outside of your control. If you'd like to find out more about how chains work, please check out this video here that Ian recorded. Once all the searches and inquiries are complete, your buyer's mortgage is approved and all the other transactions in the chain are ready, that is when you sign the contracts. All the parties in the chain will then agree a date for the completion. This is when the remaining balance is paid, your keys are handed over, and your house is sold. Voila! Sounds easy, right? The key thing here is keeping an accurate record of any information about your property and to communicate regularly with your solicitor and estate agent to help the process be as smooth as possible. If you're looking for more advice when moving home, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video.